Hi good day, welcome to Marble Halls TV, and just another daily roundup. I try to do this every day of just different points surrounding the football club or our football club. Excuse me. I want to start off with this story. Um, as in following Balogun. Now obviously he's done well for us in the Europa League, but the actual story is that he may leave for free in the summer. Now this is from Sky Sports, as you can see here. Um, and personally, I don't want him to go. I think we should give him a chance. I think he's shown more than Eddie Nketiah. I think Nketiah has started to outlive his usefulness, in my honest opinion. He's been given chances, but still, I don't think he's at the level. But Balogun really could. I'm not saying he will be the finished article, but how do we know how good he is if we don't give him chances or more chances? I think his all-round game's definitely better than Balogun's. He's physically stronger, hold the ball up. Obviously, his finishing is better. Um, but as you can see here from Sky Sports, they're saying the 19-year-old is allowed to sign a pre-contract agreement with an overseas club this month, and the player and his representatives are in talks with a number of clubs. As it stands, Balogun is unlikely to go on loan this month and be the interest from a number of clubs in the Championship. There were talks in Liverpool, but is he going to get in Liverpool's team ahead of Firmino or Salah Mane? I think that's unlikely. They still got Origi, who yes, has never been top levels, but yeah, he's capable when he gets in the team when he plays for them in the League Cup and shit. And look, he scored the winning goal for them in the Champions League. So yes, he's not top levels, but he can always say to himself or to his kids or for family, whatever, well, I was gonna say I won the Champions League. You know what I mean? Um, he did his, yeah, he scored the winning final in the winning goal in the Champions League final. You know, going back to the article, Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta says the club are doing all they can to keep him. Arteta claims Balogun wants to stay, but questions whether his agent, wants the same. He said at his news conference on Thursday morning, the club wants to make a deal, the manager wants to make a deal, the player wants to stay, and I'm not sure about the agent. Um, I'm not sure what to think of this because you say you're not sure about the agent. It could be that the agent is feeding things into Balogun's ear. But if the player wants to stay, then surely the agent should do as the player says because the agent is working for the player. So are you sure that Balogun wants to stay? Or is this a tactic to say to the agent? It could be it could be some kind of negotiating tactic to hurry up that we have something down on the line, or even they want to offer more money. Um, it could be if you're reading between the lines, but I don't know. Because I don't understand if you're saying the player wants to stay and the manager, well, he's speaking of himself in the third person. Because he says the club wants to make a deal, the manager wants to make a deal. That's obviously him. The player wants to stay, but I'm not sure about the agent. I think, but again, the agent represents the player. So is this I suspect this could be a negotiation tactic. Is there a number of clubs in the championship? Um, I think that makes sense because he probably would want to prove himself, and I can't see many other Premier League clubs taking a chance on him. But look, Balogun has done one of the under 23s, right? So there's no guarantee that he will continue to do well in the first team. Um, But how would you know? Again, it's like a chicken and egg. It's a vicious circle. How would you know if he doesn't get the chance, or more of an extended chance, I should say? So I don't know. So Arteta goes on to say, "We are negotiating with an agent with a player that wants to stay at the club, and we need to find an agreement." Again, I suppose that heightens my suspicion. Actually, I'm going to continue here. It says, "I'm telling you that we are doing everything we can to keep him here, and hopefully, from the other part, they're doing the same and in the same interest, which is in the player's interest, which is to stay at the football club and be successful with us." Um, Arsenal Arteta confirmed Balogun is available for Arsenal's FA Cup third round tie with Newcastle on Saturday evening. He has scored 2 goals in 4 Europa League appearances from the bench this season, and was a 77th minute substitute in Arsenal's 4-1 Carabao Cup defeat to Man City last month. Um, so yeah, I won't go on the Ozil thing. I spoke about that yesterday. Um, so yeah, it probably is some kind of tactic he's using. He, as in Arteta's using against the agent, because well, I don't know fully how football or player negotiations work, but I do know that an agent is there to represent the player, and the player really should tell. Okay, the agent can give advice, but it still should be how the agent does it. It's like if you go to like a doctor or whatever, the doctor says X, you don't have to agree with X. You could do Y if you want, but the doctor's responsibility is to tell you, all right, is this safe? No, this is safe. Um, the agent is more or less similar. Um, so an agent really should be saying, you know, yes, they should be advising, but they should still do as the player says. So if Balogun tells the agent, you know what, I want to stay at Arsenal, but I want to have, let's say, 50 grand a week base salary, right? So, right, cool. The agent goes to the player with that, but in that capacity, the agent has to really, the agent has to go on it. So yeah, will something be done? It's possible, but other than that, I don't know. He may be eager for first team football, but if he signs the deal, he has to be more included. I think that's just common sense, really. Why would Balogun stay or want to stay if he's not? Um, look at the deal Saka got. Okay, not the same thing because Saka was playing, but um, Saka basically got a good deal. Um, Actually, that's probably not the best analogy because Saka was playing, but even still, Saka would not have signed if he didn't have assurances that he would be featured. He has featured. He's been one of our better players this season, albeit we've had a relatively shitty season. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on Balogun. That I suspect what he's saying there is trying to put pressure on the agent. That's just me kind of reading between the lines of what the scene is there. So the next story now is this COVID loan, as you can see there. So Spurs did something earlier this year, and we've followed suit seemingly. So basically, this is open to any company in the UK that has operations in the UK that is really suffering from the effects of the pandemic. Um, Now, I can understand that because the thing with Arsenal is that our revenues, yeah, all clubs in the Premier League at least get TV money. Sponsorship has increased, but we're unique amongst most clubs in that we rely a bit more on match day income. Obviously, match day income has been very limited because we've had 2,000 fans in a few games, but yeah, match day income has been pretty limited. Um, as it says there, on Thursday, Arsenal confirmed the club were utilising a Bank of England scheme, which must be paid back by May to bring in significant additional revenue, with matches at the Emirates Stadium now once again being played behind closed doors. A statement on the club's website reads, "As we continue to work through the implications of the global pandemic on our finances, we can confirm that the club has met the criteria set by the Bank of England for the COVID corporate financing facility. As a result, we are taking a short-term £120 million loan through this facility to partially assist in managing the impact of the revenue losses attributable to the pandemic. This is a similar approach to that taken by a wide variety of major organisations across many industries, including sport, and is repayable in May 2021. The CCFF is designed to provide short-term finance at commercial rates during the pandemic to companies that have strong investment ratings that which make significant contributions to the British economy. The CCFF is in addition to the loan provided by our owners, Kroenke Sports and Entertainment, that enables us to refinance the debt on the Emirates Stadium in August last year. Arsenal's North London rivals Tottenham are the only other club benefiting from the scheme, used it to borrow 175 million last summer. So basically then, I would say this loan, yeah, it's basically to provide cover, so we probably don't have to let other staff go. But the thing is, Arsenal's expensive. Okay, a basic principle of business management, right? Any business, any level, from a big company to a small, I don't know, sole trader, right? Essentially, right, you have to have, if your revenues go down, you have to minimize your costs accordingly, right? So essentially, then this is what we're doing. As for the loan, I think the repayment interest is relatively small. I suppose it makes sense as not to have further impact, but you know, I suppose I can understand why the club has taken this out, and it makes sense. You could say Kroenke should bail us out more, but to be fair, he's already given us a loan, which is kind of restructured it. The thing is, we still do own the Emirates, but I suppose the best way of putting that would be like a credit card balance transfer, that we still owe the money out, but we owe it more to Kroenke directly, more so than to what's his name, the banks obviously. Um, so that's given us a bit more leeway, and obviously as we owe it to Kroenke directly, then you know the payment terms would from his own business, as it were, would not be as stringent. Um, so yeah, so basically this means we can retain more staff, we can pay staff, and yeah, we can also, because the thing is managing uh, Arsenal's operational costs, right? I know it sounds kind of like dry accounting stuff, but it's important because the financial health of any organization is important, including a football club. Arsenal's operational costs must be pretty high because to maintain the Emirates Stadium is a lot, not just in terms of the physical stuff like the seats or the lighting or the under pitch heating or the pitch surface or the dressing rooms or the club level, but the electricity, well, the general utilities, electricity, gas, heating, lighting, um, you know, internet. Obviously, the staff who work there must use the internet. You have to buy food. Well, yeah. When I say food, I don't mean on match days, but staff have to eat. Even if it's just like a vending machine, they have that costs money. Um, Even if they just get some caterer to bring in sandwiches every day, that costs money. Hybrid house is a cost. The training ground is a cost. You have to buy. Obviously, you have to employ ground staff. You have to have that has utilities. You have to buy food there to feed the players, the staff, the Arteta, the coaching staff. So I'd argue that the general operational costs of Arsenal, we have to pay. I just remembered the medical staff, the club doctors. Probably the club has a regular coach driver, or they hire, or even if they outsource that, they have to pay for plane travel. If even within the UK, often the flights, that's a cost. That's a regular cost. So your Europa League obviously have to have flights. So yeah, it is a lot of costs involved to run Arsenal. So yeah, this makes sense in the current climate, and it's just really to tide us over. And you say it's repayable, so essentially then it would come from the TV money, and yeah. Um, so in a way, it's probably a bit more pressure for Arteta to buck up his ideas and for us to do better in the league or in Europe. Um, so yeah, so that's that story. Um, and the next one, which I'm going to end with, is this Julian Brandt one. So you can probably see here. Uh, Hang on just a moment. So, resurgent Arsenal's main priority appears to be a trim a bloated squad under Mikel Arteta, who says Mesut Ozil's future could be resolved in the coming days. The Gunners are on the lookout for midfield reinforcements with Julian Brandt, Emi Buendia, and Yves Bissouma among the players linked with the Emirates amid fresh doubts over Folarin Balogun, while teenage defender Omar Rekik is set to complete his move from Hertha Berlin. Well, I spoke about Julian Brandt a few days ago and Buendia. Bissouma, I think, could be an option. Um, I think he would add a better dimension to our midfield. And I spoke obviously about Balogun, but I haven't spoken about Omar Rekik. To be honest, I don't know much about him. Um, he may just be one for the future. I think he's a defender, but I don't know. I think we should pay more attention this window to things that are more urgent needs and defenders. Um, that's just my view, but yeah. Well, we'll see. He's obviously one for the future. I doubt he's a mainstay, but we'll see how well he does if we do sign him. So yeah, that's that for now. So thank you very much for listening, and yeah, I'll see you next time.